Recording today's webinar. I would like to say thank you to each one of you for joining us today. My name is Sandra Vidrio, and on behalf of the Fresno Area Hispanic Foundation, we would like to say thank you for joining us for today's webinar presented by the Central Valley Business Diversity Partnership. Before getting started, I would like to show you a quick tutorial on using the Zoom tools that appear on your screen. To submit questions or comments during the webinar, please select the chat icon that appears on your screen if you're using a computer. And if you're accessing through a mobile device or tablet, you will need to select the more and then select the chat option. We encourage participants to please submit their questions during the presentation. And I am also excited to share that we have a feature and today's webinar will have live interpretation and it would be provided on behalf of the team at Lingüística. Estoy contenta de anunciar que nuestro seminario web de hoy tiene la opción de traducción en vivo de inglés a español. Para acceder a esta herramienta, por favor de seleccionar la opción de interpretación o more en su pantalla y después hacer clic en la opción de español y asegúrese de silenciar el audio original. As mentioned earlier, today's presentation is presented on behalf of the Central Valley, is brought to you by the Central Valley Business Diversity Partnership, and this is a collaboration in partnership with the City of Fresno, the California Hmong Chamber of Commerce, Jakara Movement, the Fresno Metro Black Chamber of Commerce, and the Fresno Area Hispanic Foundation. To learn more about this collaboration, please call our office at 559-222-8705. The purpose of this organization is to bring together resources for businesses that are located in downtown Fresno, in Chinatown Fresno, and Southwest Fresno. I would also like to say thank you to our sponsor for today's webinar, Wells Fargo. Thank you so much for your support and for the opportunity to bring today's valuable presentation regarding updates on reopening guidelines for small businesses in the city of Fresno. Thank you so much, Wells Fargo, for your support. This is the agenda for today. We are honored to have Ronnie Horton, Code Enforcement Manager at the City of Fresno Attorney's Office. Welcome back, Ronnie, for an updated presentation regarding reopening guidelines for small businesses. A lot of new updates, especially from the state level, new resources on how to keep track of where our city is in regards to the safety to continue small business operations and of course to protecting the employees as well as the clients. So we will continue after the presentation with the live Q&A session, and we encourage each one to please submit your questions that will be answered at the end. Before getting started with the presentation, I would just like to share a little bit about our organization. The Fresno Area Hispanic Foundation is a nonprofit organization in the Central Valley with the mission to promote education and self-sufficiency by fostering entrepreneurship. And at this time, our team is providing the following core programs remotely to our community. And that includes our virtual technical assistance, weekly webinars, and our microloan program. In addition, we have our newest program, which is Womanpreneur and Latinapreneur. This program is designed to help women entrepreneurs grow their business using online marketing tools and also provide them the assistance to help develop a strategic marketing plan. To learn more about our programs, please call us at 559-222-8705 or follow us on our social media platforms at Fresno AHF. I want to also remind you that today's webinar is currently being recorded and also transmitted live through our Facebook. Therefore, if you would like to watch it at review, you will be able to do so. And one more resource that I would like to share is that our organization is also supporting businesses that have reopened and that are in need of personal protective equipment for their employees. And we have hand sanitizers available, procedural face masks, and this PPE was made available through the California Governor's Office of Emergency Services in collaboration with the California Office of Small Businesses, CalOSPA. To place an order for a 30-day supply, please call our office at 559-222-8705. And I do want to keep in mind that this is while supplies last, so please call us. And with that, I would now like to welcome Rodney. Rodney, good morning. How are you? Let me go ahead and make you host. That way you can share your screen and I'll stop sharing my screen. So thank you so much, Rodney.
Try and do
Hope
this
everyone's
without
having
messing
a
up.
great morning to their Friday.
All right, can you see the screen?
Perfect. Yes.
All right.
Perfect.
Well, first, I like to thank you very much for allowing me to present, on how we can reopen during these difficult times. I really appreciate you reaching out to me and being able to pass this information on. I cannot imagine what our business community has been going through since March. I've seen the fear in their eyes. I've seen them, just choke up at the thought of having to lay off their loyal and faithful employees, having to close their dine-in services for the restaurants, or have their business to be deemed non-essential, something that they have done their whole entire lives. So this has been a time that really has been difficult for our business community in any way that code enforcement can help. I know that it's a two-edged sword. We're the ones that have said you have to close down, but we also want to do as much as we can for the business community because we know that they're hurting during these times, and these times are very challenging. And so there are resources that we'll get into later in the presentation that code enforcement has been very fortunate to be involved in regards to assisting the business community with mass distribution, emergency order, education, that sort of thing. And so our goal is to continue to lower the infection rate by encouraging people to comply with the emergency orders so that we can continue our reopening phase. And so, any way that we can help, we will. We want to partner with the business community. I know that you may have seen some things throughout the summer and certainly in the spring where there was a lot of, harsh feelings about code enforcement. We're not policymakers. When there is a policy to enforce, we're the enforcing arm. But where we can assist, we will certainly do that. So I'm very happy to be here today, and I want to give a shout out to our economic development team, which I understand is on the call. I'm sure they might want to chime in with some of the financial and economic assistance that their office is able to provide, and they have been providing throughout the pandemic through the Save Our Small Business program that was approved by City Council. So we'll go ahead and jump right in here. Just to relive our nightmare a little bit as to how we got into this situation. We started our shelter in place in March, as everyone is aware, and businesses fell into two categories, non-essential and essential. And essential businesses were basically limited to transportation. So you saw our fax buses that were operating, grocery stores, hardware stores, gas stations, and convenience stores and restaurants were only considered essential for takeout, not for dine-in. And so those, for a significant period of time, were the only types of businesses that were permitted to remain open through the initial parts of the pandemic. All other businesses were basically considered non-essential. We eventually moved on and we started reopening on a phased schedule. And so under the city's emergency order, we went into three separate categories. Before there was essential and non-essential, and now, or at least to that point, it was essential, non-essential, and authorized. And so the city was providing a path for non-essential businesses to begin operations with under a new guide and under a different path, as far as guidance to open and to remain open. And so the city shelter in place, ended on about May 26th. So additional businesses were allowed to reopen under authorized businesses. And so they had to, follow core guidelines that basically kept their employees and the public safe, continue to help in slowing the spread of the coronavirus. And the other core goal was to get the economy back open, so that people can go back to work safely and continue to handle their economic affairs safely without fear of infection. And some of the general health and safety guidelines included not allowing sick employees to come to work. That's something that we do here at City Hall. So if we have an employee that answers yes to 10 screening questions, they're not permitted in the building, and they go through a separate risk assessment process. And that's our way of protecting the employees that are, we would consider essential, that are in the building and have to work through the pandemic. They're not working from home. And businesses are committing to that, or especially committing to that part, to keep their business open and to keep their employees being able to come into work, maintaining and enforcing social distancing. I feel like Fresno County and the entire Central Valley is just a very warm place. I'm not from California, and I'm certainly not from Fresno. And so coming here, I always felt like Fresnans can give the American South a lesson on hospitality, because everyone is so warm and inviting and love to give hugs. And this is a new normal for us, that we have to show our love and appreciation to each other 6 feet apart. And so that's very tough to do. But businesses have been committing to that and maintaining that. It's very common to go into a store and actually see the markings down. Please permit for 6 feet of social distancing, and people are required to stand in certain areas that have been designated as at least 6 feet of space between one patron to another. Break rooms, bathrooms, and other common areas require frequent disinfection. All employees and customers must wear the protective facial coverings. It is difficult to have to constantly wear something like this, especially if you have, asthma or some sort of, issue with the breathing or respiration. But we try to wear the facial coverings and enforce the facial coverings inside of businesses so that we can maintain this safety guide and keep our businesses open. So about that, our reopening was halted in July 1 by Governor Newsom. Our numbers spiked. We never actually flattened the curve, which is what the purpose of the emergency shelter. That was the entire purpose of that, was to flatten the curve and to reduce the number of infections. So we did a little bit of that, and then as we reopened, the numbers just spiked pretty high. And it wasn't just in Fresno County, it was in 18 other counties throughout the state of California. It was in other states across the country. And so Governor Newsom shut down indoor operations for restaurants, wineries, movie theaters, and family entertainment centers. Zoos, museums, card rooms, and bars altogether had to close. And so that was July 1. There was a new process that was brought about where the city of Fresno wanted to work with businesses and started to utilize outdoor dining so as a way to accommodate restaurants. I'm going to use restaurants quite a bit as an example. The city council and the economic development team have been providing assistance and guidance on parklets. You'll see parklets in the Tower District, and you'll also see them in front of Bitwise. So you'll see them around the city. You're starting to see or you should already see parking lots are being utilized to accommodate outdoor dining, so that restaurants can be able to accommodate more of their patrons who want to eat at the establishment and not just do takeout. So, the city, in fact, other areas of the state of California have been very creative in an effort to support businesses that have had to roll back on the reopening due to the infection rate that has occurred throughout our summer months. Initially, when COVID hit, as many of you may recall, the initial thinking from a lot of health experts was that this would go away in the summer. We would be fine in the summer months, and then this would reemerge in the fall. And so what we witnessed was it never really went away. The numbers spiked, and so the state had to roll back the reopening. And fortunately, we're able to kind of have a new tiered system. And so we have 4 different tiers. We have the widespread purple tier, and that's when the positive test rates are more than 8% in the entire county. We have the substantial tier, or the red tier, which is currently what the county of Fresno is in. And that's when you have your positive rate anywhere between 5 and 8%. You have the moderate orange rate, which the county of Fresno is hoping to go into next. Your positive rates are anywhere from 2 to 4.9%. And then you have the minimal rate, which is our ultimate goal, where most indoor business operations can occur. And that's when you have a positive infection rate of less than 2%. So currently, as I mentioned before, this county of Fresno is in the red tier. There were a couple of times where it was touch and go that we might roll back to the purple tier, but our infection rate is still within the red tier, which is a good thing. And actually, we're teetering. Last numbers I saw, we're teetering on going to the orange phase. So we're trending in the right direction, and so that's a good sign. As I mentioned before, we're in a red tier. So what does that mean? Retail establishments like bookstores can open with modifications, max capacity 50%. Clothing and shoe stores can open. Dance studios can open at 10% capacity. And the county website, which was provided in the chat box, provides to you that industry guidance, the requirements that businesses need to adhere to in order to remain open, and the modifications that are needed. Some of the modifications we'll get into later. And again, I primarily use restaurants as an example. But if you go to the county's website, you'll be able to see what that industry guidance is and what it is that particular business, because there's so many different industries, of course, in our area in fact, in the state. There's a host of requirements for each particular individual industry. And so the Fresno County Department of Health has been our #1 partner throughout all of this. So, we've been able to partner with the Department of Health as far as, testing. So there you can find a testing site for yourself, for your employees. Should they have a symptom or experience any kind of symptoms that are related to the coronavirus, they can get information on requesting PPE. There's a host of information. You can also find the numbers on the county's website, numbers as far as infection rate and that sort of thing. So a lot of businesses have been following this website so as to know the status of the county. Are we in jeopardy of going back to purple? Are we good to go forward? Are we looking to go forward into the orange phase, which so far it looks like we're trending more in that direction. And so you're able to really get a lot of information with the County Department of Health. Also, the city's website, fresno.gov. You can go there as well and get up-to-date information on programs that are being implemented by the City Council and administered by Economic Development team, led through Lupe Perez, our Economic Development Director. You can get up-to-date information on programs and initiatives that are being provided to businesses from the administration as well. And some of that would include the mask program that code enforcement officers have been distributing to businesses within the city of Fresno. And so, it's just a wealth of information here. This is where your industry guidance is and the other forms that businesses are required to complete prior to reopening. And so I mentioned how we use restaurants as an example. So the COVID-19 restaurant operating procedures is on the county's website. And so prior to reopening, a business owner for the restaurant must complete that form, and the form must be submitted to Environmental Health Division of Department of Public Health. And so their email address is located here on this slide here, environmental health at fresnocountyca.gov. And it's also on the form itself where you can send the form to. And so it's basically a check mark. This is, all the employees have been told not to come to work if ill. A health survey is conducted with each employee prior to the beginning of each shift. So it's marking out that you're adhering to those specific operating procedures. It's a pretty simple form to complete. It is pretty lengthy because there's a lot of information that the business is committing to, constant sanitizing of the employee's workstation and area, as well as any break rooms that the employees go to. And then there's the city's emergency order, which is still in effect. So we have the City of Fresno's emergency order, which is applicable to the City of Fresno. I understand that there may be members that are connected to areas outside of Fresno. As far as the city is concerned, you may want to check with your local municipality. If you're in Clovis, Sanger, Wheatley, or what have you, they may have their own emergency order and ordinance like the City of Fresno has. With the city's emergency order 2020-17, and it's since been revised, last revision was July 14, 2020. Appendix A is required to not only be completed by the business, but it must also be posted. So the public needs to know that the business is maintaining all of these measures, the modifications, making sure people keep at least 6 feet of distance from each other, measures to prevent unnecessary contact, measures to increase sanitation, to protect crowds from gathering. One of the things that we have done in code enforcement is educating businesses on, being careful with even doing things such as, the first 20 patrons to come to our establishment between the hours of 1 and 3, or the first 100. You want to try to prevent those kind of outreach and engagement so that the public is not gathering for a short period of time in your establishment, which may not be as large as, let's say, a facility like City Hall or a large indoor mall or even a large outdoor mall. You want to kind of prevent the unnecessary crowding because when you have situations like that, people are racing to your establishment to get the best sales or what have you, and they're not adhering to the social distancing. So you go to a lot of businesses, you will see Appendix A in the City of Fresno is posted at the establishment. And if they don't have it, it is on the city's website, again, at fresno.gov. So please complete that and then make sure it's posted in a very visible location for the public to see. And also, there's a lot of access to free PPE. The city is working with the Chamber of Commerce for free face masks and hand sanitizers. So the Chamber of Commerce has about 1 million face masks and about 50,000 individual hand sanitizers for businesses, and they're giving them out in quantities of 30 to 45 day supply. And so these items can be picked up at the Fresno Chamber. Their address is 2331 Fresno Street between the hours of 10 a.m. and 2 p.m. Monday through Friday. And so they have quite a bit. So if for some reason you're not able to connect you know, with, you know, our partners here with Sandra, then you can certainly go through the Chamber of Commerce. They have the 30 to 45-day supply of face masks and hand sanitizer. If you're not able to connect with the chamber, certainly code enforcement, our inspectors are out in the community and will provide you with face masks. We don't have the hand sanitizers in our possession just yet, but we do have the face mask available. We have been distributing face masks since I think about May, and we have distributed roughly 46,000 face masks to about 307 businesses and organizations within the city of Fresno. So code enforcement has been very busy, and we want to, again, continue to partner with our business community. We know that you all as business owners have been through a lot with this pandemic, and any way that we can help, we will try to do our part for sure. And so at this time, I'd like to open it up, Sandra, if you're okay with it, for any questions that may come up.
Absolutely. Please, like Rodney mentioned at this time, please send us in your questions, and I'll be happy to open the forum. I have a question focusing on the restaurant industry. We've had a few businesses reach out to us, just asking a little bit more on what the process is. It's like for the outdoor entertainment. So let's say, for example, they have the capacity to safely accommodate a few customers in their outdoor patio. Is there an ordinance for live entertainment? For example, having live music, like a DJ playing? Is there a process for each district, or is it, you know, are the restrictions a little easy?
That's a great question. I'm glad you brought that up. Councilwoman Soria sponsored a revision to the emergency ordinance that would allow for outdoor entertainment. So that is something that you know, we are permitting businesses certainly to be able to do. Our request for businesses that have the outdoor entertainment is to please work with us and be sensible. Don't have a large band. Don't have people dancing and congregating together. I know that it's tough, you know, when it comes to dancing, and you want to, you know, go out with your friends and have fun, but to always keep in mind that we are in the middle of a pandemic, and we want to keep people safe, and we want to continue to go toward reopening. So, you know, one of the things that, you know, my boss has something, you know, so has a saying, and I always like it. It's just like, you know, don't be crazy, you know, don't go overboard here. So if you can work with us, you can do it safely. The opportunity is there to certainly do that. Councilwoman Soria is the one that really allowed for this entertainment component to be occurring in the city. And so we just want people to do it safely, and just, you know, use some discretion and common sense, and make sure that we can keep people safe.
Perfect. Thank you so much. I appreciate.
Yes, for sure.
Not sure. Let me allow, perhaps I can allow participants to unmute themselves if you would like to ask your live question at this time. Like mentioned, you know, we're trying to use this opportunity. If you've had a question, you know, right now we have direct contact with code enforcement to share with us, or perhaps best practices on just, you know, trying, like you mentioned, Ronnie, right now it's, you know, definitely difficult times, and unfortunately many businesses were not prepared, did not have, you know, a plan for the type of external situations that are happening. Therefore, it's really important, you know, right now it's just a matter of pivoting your business, being creative as you can, and the fact that the city of Fresno is being offering, and I love the idea of the outdoor patio, the grants that are being provided. I can already see some of those beautification projects happening here in downtown Fresno, in the Tower District area. So that, my question to that is, how do businesses, is there still funding available? How can businesses, what are some of the criteria to apply for these outdoor patio grants?
I'm not quite sure on the criteria. What I would encourage you know, folks to do, and I don't know if I think Clary, Hira, and
I can jump in.
Lupe, there you are.
I was having trouble with my system. As of now, the funds have been exhausted. But that does not prevent people from still going in and going through the process to getting permitted. So unfortunately, it was a very popular, one of the popular programs, and the funds have been exhausted at this time.
I have a question for Lupe. What beach are you at?
I always love this because it makes me feel in the morning, right? That's actually Pismo. So
okay, there you go.
I wish I was there. I'm not.
Thank you
Anyway.
so much for joining us for today's webinar. And as you mentioned, there are a lot of programs out there, economic support. I know the foundation here had the opportunity to collaborate with the City of Fresno for the Save Our Small Business Grant Program, round 3. And I know there's a different type of program available, right? This one's more in the form of a microloan, but I know there's an opportunity with low interest rate. Not sure if you're able to share, share a little bit more about that program.
Yes, we're fortunate to be qualified for additional funding for our city businesses, and through the EDA, we have $830,000 available. It will not be a grant, so when people sure that they know it's not a grant, it is a loan. The rate is prime plus 0, so whatever prime is right now, which I think is 3.5 or somewhere in that neighborhood. Don't quote me, but it'll be that rate fixed, and then depending on the amount of money you get is what the term will be. So we are partnering with SynCal, who also manages our other revolving loan program. You can reach them to get further information, and we hope to get some of that out and start distributing flyers for that information. So we'll share it with your group, and if you can share it with your followers, that would be great.
Absolutely. And I just quickly looked up here. So SynCal Finance Group, their phone number is 559-227-1158. So thank you, Lupe.
And that funding, Sandra, as you know, because I believe the Hispanic Foundation also is doing it for other cities, that funding, the businesses would have to show that they've been impacted through the COVID. So this is a great opportunity, I think, for small businesses to look at how can they pivot their business to be more successful, right? I mean, that's our goal, right? To work with our businesses to help them pivot themselves so that they don't have to close, right? So if it's meaning maybe using this money to open up an outdoor dining, right? That costs to do that, or how do I readapt my facility, my employees, help with my employees, whatever it is that they need help with to adapt to this new environment that we're in now. That's what that money will be used for. So, we're, like Rodney said, we're here, for any other kind of information that you need. Feel free to reach us at the city's website as well, or call us directly.
And I do see here a question submitted by one of our participants. And the question here is, are you aware of specific guidelines for driving schools as far as being in a vehicle with the student and instructor, but while maintaining it 6 feet apart?
That's a good question. I'm not 100% familiar with the specific guidelines. What I would do is encourage, I believe it's Javi that asked that really a good question. I would encourage Javi to go to the Fresno County Department of Health's website because you will then see the specific guidelines for driving schools. So I would encourage you to go to the website and get that industry guidance. I just use restaurants because that's the common business that code enforcement has been dealing with, restaurants, retail establishments, and that sort of thing. But there's a whole host of industries that are out there that we really don't, some of them are seasonal, they're only in, such as like the flower shops, for example. They're not in business all year round. They may have a component of their business that may be all year round, but Mother's Day, we would, period, we would deal with the flower shops, or Valentine's Day is a big one. This will be, pretty interesting. So I'm not 100% sure on the specific guidelines of the Department of Health.
I want Also, I was just thinking when Rodney was talking about the signage that businesses have and should be posting and are required to post, right, Rodney, on their businesses. We, the city, as well as the county, put some funding together for the Fresno EDC. I always get them confused. They have a website that's Revive Fresno, FresnoCounty.com. There they have guidelines that you can go to help you. And I believe, I don't know if they still offer actual signage that you can post, but you can reach out to them to see, and that will help. So if there's a small business that doesn't know what kind of signage I should have, what are the rules, they have it. You can go on to their website and you can get some of that information there, and somebody will walk you through that as well. And you can check the pledge. They have a website there where they've listed businesses that have taken the pledge that, you know what, I have done what I need to do to stay open safely, and they list your business there. So if somebody's looking through there, they'll say, oh, okay, I feel comfortable going into that restaurant, right? Because that's the other thing. If restaurants are open and people don't feel comfortable going there, then that doesn't help, you know, that organization. So what do we do to make people feel more comfortable about going out when they do want to go out and spend money? So.
Absolutely. Perhaps this could be a good segue as to perhaps, you know, like those minimum, you know, like requirements, right, for business owners, you know, that are, you know, that have reopened their business. So obviously having the posting, the signage, you know, mandatory for anyone that's inside the building to be wearing the mask at all times. Is there any other requirements? I know checking temperature. I've seen some service-based organizations or service-based businesses do that, but checking temperature, is that a requirement for each employee that walks into the door, or what does that look like?
That's a great question. You know, here at City Hall, we check, we're required to have all the employees have their temperatures checked. I have seen many businesses do the temperature checking for customers and employees, like toilet paper. You know, those type of devices are very hard to come by. So businesses are not, we wouldn't enforce on businesses that are, you know, that are not able to do that, because that equipment is hard to come by. You know, it took us, you know, several weeks to get, you know, I say us, the city of Fresno, to get the equipment necessary for employees to scan and have their temperatures read on a daily basis before entering City Hall. You know, we understand that a lot of the thermometers are on back order, just like it was very hard to come across, and still is, you know, Lysol spray cans, you know, to disinfect areas. You know, we had to be creative and put bleach into a bottle with water in order for our employees to sanitize their workstations, because, you know, the Lysol aerosol cans are on tremendous back order, and so are the Lysol wipes. You know, it may require being a little creative and maybe going with a different kind of thermometer per se, or what have you. But we're certainly not going to require businesses to do that. It's at this point in time not in the emergency order. And we understand it, you know, things are a little tough to come by now because there's such a great demand. I mean, this isn't a you know, I should say a California problem, a Fresno problem, the U.S. problem, or North America problem. I mean, it's a global thing where all the countries are in competition with each other for PPE and also for other preventative measures like disinfectant. And I wanted to thank, if I could very briefly, Dr. Chacorn, who provided the website to COVID-19.ca.gov. And so I wanted to thank her for that, providing that. But I also wanted to just point out that the state's website will provide that information, but basically will then redirect you back to the county's website, because that's where the businesses will need to actually complete the required forms and then mail in or email or fax in that completed form to the county's Department of Public Health. So you don't send that information to the state of California, you send it to your county Department of Health.
Absolutely. And then I like the resources being shared right now, and I'm gonna use this moment. I'm not sure if you can see the screen here. But okay, it looks like this is the COVID-19 resource, correct?
Yes.
So simply just county, so we're in Fresno.
Mhm.
And so I see these are the different options here. And so of course the website for this resource here is covid19.ca.gov/safer-economy. And so we'll make sure to share it on the Zoom chat box and also post it on the Facebook live stream. So for example, if you are, let's select random here, just so many options. A florist. So Fresno substantial, and so like you mentioned, it does redirect you to the county website. And then of course, here's what the county website looks like to keep up to date with information. So if your business is located outside of City of Fresno, of course, we will have information here for county and metrics. And then this is the website for City of Fresno resources. And so some Save Our Small Business Grant here, the emergency order. And so when you click here, of course, like Rodney shared, it will direct you to the emergency order that was updated back in July 14 of this year. And lastly, the resource shared within the presentation was the Revive Fresno County. And so this website is revivefresnocounty.com. And as Rodney shared, this is up-to-date information for businesses. So let's say, for example, you have a childcare business, you select search, and I believe it's going to, yep, it's going to populate here. I like how on the right, immediate actions to be required. And of course, on the left, the different links to help make sure that your business is being operated safely for the sake of your employees, your clients, and everyone that is part of, just part of the business. So with that, we'll continue. Not sure if any other participants have any questions. As mentioned, we are here to help answer or direct you to resources or just sharing best practices. So we will continue being here on the line. So if anyone has any questions, please go ahead and either make it live or answer or submit through the chat box. Any last minute remarks, Rodney? I know right now it's just keeping it up to date, right? It's almost like a daily, just checking in. Okay, where are we at?
It is. It's a new normal. It's a really tough time. I just keep thinking of the quote, and I can't remember who in history said it. These are the times that tries men's souls. It's or something to that effect. And it's just a very difficult time. I mean, our businesses here in Fresno and else places in the state of California are used to the requirement like zone clearances and entitlement applications and building permits and sign permits. They're used to doing those type of largely ministerial, going through those largely ministerial processes to open their business. And now you throw in a global pandemic on top of that, and it can make for a really challenging time. We are here to help and work with our business community. If you have any code related or EO related questions, I would encourage your members to give me a call here at City Hall at 559-621-8400. And we can get them in touch with the legal team to answer any questions they may have in regards to the emergency order or the emergency ordinance here in the city, or any state and county requirements as it pertains to reopening their business. I'm very thankful to have our ED team, online. So yeah, I definitely would defer to Lupe if she has any parting words on all things economic development.
Absolutely. I think she's connected here, but yes, like you mentioned, City of Fresno has been really great with keeping up with the businesses and helping them out and just answering any questions, being available. And I know, the pandemic is one thing for those that are established businesses, but also those that are looking to use, this opportunity to pursue that dream of entrepreneurship. And so resources, there's many small business organizations in the community ready to help, and having the support of the Economic Development Department at City of Fresno makes it 10 times better. So.
Yep, absolutely. Our team's here. Rodney's a great resource. I've got a team, Yahira. We've got Kelly and Claire. Our team might be small, but we're out here helping, and, you know, give us a call, 621-8350. And my direct line, 621-8371. So please feel free to give us a call, email us, whatever you need. We're out there. You know, maybe not respond to you within right away, but we will call you within that same time. And so, you know, I know people are hurting, and we're trying to do what we can to put stuff out on Facebook so that as we get information, we put it out there. We will be currently the one last thing, the funding will be coming out also is for nonprofits. So if there's a small nonprofit that needs some help, we're in the process of getting those guidelines put together, and we'll be rolling it out soon, you know, that program. So as soon as that comes on board, we'll go on to our Facebook page, or sign up on our link for economic development with the City of Fresno here. And we have a newsletter, and we will email you as notice information becomes available as well.
Absolutely. Thank you so much for sharing it. I'm going to post here on the chat box the link to
Yes.
Economic Development website. And like you mentioned, you know, signing up to newsletters. It's really important, especially right now, with just trying to find ways, keep up to date with resources. I know there's a lot of organizations at federal, state, local level just ready to help and assist. And it's just a matter of asking. You know,
there's a lot of information out there for everyone, you know, but, you know, sometimes people don't have that resource either, right? They don't have the ability to go online. So give us a call. Let your business friends know, right? Help us get the word out any way you can. For those organizations that don't, or businesses that don't have the ability to do that, let's see how we can help them, you know, again, pivot themselves to be able to have that access so they can also get help, right? We want to try to save as many small businesses as we can. They're important to our infrastructure for our city and our county, so.
Backbone of our economy, that is correct. Well, it looks like there's no more questions here in the chat box. Oh, we have a question here. Where do we sign up on the website? Let's look through here.
Kelly's, I think, on the phone, and she can shoot over the, or on the line, she can shoot our website. There you go.
That's what he said.
She's my quickie. She's my quickie there.
Well, I want to once again thank to the team at City of Fresno, the attorney's office, the team at the Economic Development Department. Thank you so much for joining us for today's webinar. As mentioned, today's presentation has been recorded and we will be uploading it to our YouTube channel. And of course, it's being currently live on Facebook, and we will make sure to post all of the resources, all of the links that were shared in this chat box. We'll make sure to post them on Facebook right now. So thank you so much, everyone, for joining us. If there's any questions, you know, let us know. We'll be on the line for the next minute or so, and so we'll be ready to answer your questions. I hope you all have a wonderful and safe weekend, and we're here to help and be of a resource in any way that we can. So thank you for joining us for today's call.
Thank you. Thank you.
Sí, buenos días.
Hola, sí, buenos días.
Sí, soy Verónica. Tengo una pregunta. Yo tengo un negocio, un salón de belleza en Kerman.
Okay.
Y el día de mañana la Cámara de Comercio de Kerman va a hacer como un festival para promover los pequeños negocios, dice. Sí, aparte de eso, ¿hay algún programa económico que pueda proveer la Cámara de Comercio en Kerman?
Okay, so the question here is regarding resources that are available in the city of Kerman. So Verónica, muchas gracias por hacer la pregunta. Mi sugerencia es, como está en la ciudad de Kerman, con mucho gusto tal vez yo pueda conectarme con la Cámara de Comercio para ver qué recursos hay disponibles acerca de apoyo económico. Parece ser que va a haber un festival, ¿verdad? Este fin de semana, pero quiere recursos de apoyo económico, ¿correcto? No.
The Fresno EDC would be able to help them also. If there's programs, they offer assistance to Fresno County businesses. So el condado de económico
Desarrollo de...
de desarrollo, se me olvida cómo decirlo, perdón. Le puede contactar a ellos y ellos también le pueden ayudar porque ellos ayudan los negocios del condado, están en el condado.
Así es. Y el número de la organización es el 559.
Ok, ¿esta información me la puede dar usted?
Sí, lo puedo poner en el chat. Entonces, 559-476-2500. Muchas gracias por hacer la pregunta. Muy bien. And so the Fresno EDC has resources for businesses that are throughout Fresno County. So if you're in San Joaquin, Ridley, Purlear, Huron, Coalinga, Fireball, you know, for Fresno EDC, I know they have a hotline for COVID-19 resources, and you can contact them at 559-476-2500. So as you can see, it's a collaboration of different organizations. We're all here to support one another and support those small businesses that are looking to connect for resources during these times. Well, with that, I will once again thank you everyone that made possible today's webinar. Thank you so much, and I hope you all have a wonderful rest of your day.
Thank you.